All right. Actually, I'm still in Peace House. Just like the background is different. Right now, I'm in my first floor, not the usual downstairs. Anyway, so tonight we have a Q&A session. I got a number of questions for tonight. Okay, let's go dwell into it. Can never. Never mind, Hun Leng. I will do the screen sharing. Can you stop at this one? Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. Can you all see? Okay. Question number 1. When I attend meditation retreats, I can get mentally and physically exhausted by 3rd or 4th day. Can you share on how we could balance our energy levels during a meditation retreat? Now I go to 1B also. When I label my bodily actions during the day, example, walking, pulling, pushing, raising, bringing, bending, stretching, after some time my mindfulness on physical actions becomes strong. I can clearly remember what I did. But mindfulness of the mind is much weaker. I still can't watch my thoughts well. Is it because I'm over-concentrating on the body such that I neglect the mind? Chui Hua from Singapore. Okay, this question 1 and 2, they have although they have different questions, but they're same answer. Same answer. We'll explain it in a short while. Same answer in the sense that for both of this is not enough practice. Not enough practice. That is your simple answer. That means that you need more practice in order to overcome all this problem. But anyway, we're going to explain a little bit more. Question number 1A. You get mentally exhausted by 3rd or 4th day. It's not that whether you should balance your energy level during this time. You don't worry about those balancing yet right now. What is important is that when you go for a retreat, because I do not really know you, when you go for a retreat, don't go for 4-day, 5 days type of retreat. 4-day, 5 days type of retreat. You're going to have mentally and physically very exhausted, actually. Minimum, you should go for 10 days. Better, of course, there are longer days. More days will be better. Now, the first 3 or 4 days, for many yogis, the first 3 or 4 days is mentally and physically exhausting, actually. Some people, they are so exhausted until the 7th day. Then only they can start doing some meditation. The first few days while we are in the retreat is always a transitioning period. A transitioning period means you are doing very fast, you are doing a lot of things, you are trying to get your deadline before you come into a retreat, you have a responsibility, you are doing Yeah, you carry on with your life. Your life was very fast paced, and then here you are doing in a retreat. Everything slows down, and there's nothing much for you to do. There's not much responsibility. There's just sit and walk and eat and sleep, and next day you continue again. So you don't have much of other entertainments and so on. So during this time, the mind may feel exhausted, mentally exhausted, and physically exhausted. Because sometimes the bodily stress also builds up while we are in the everyday life. We don't realize it how much we build up until when we slow down or when we stop everything, like when we come into a retreat, then only we feel all this tension, all this pressure that is building, that was there. Then only when in a retreat, then only we realize that we are really exhausting, mentally and physically exhausting. So what you should do during the first few days of a retreat, for any one of you are going for a retreat, first few days, actually you should, don't worry about too much of sitting meditation actually. There'll be a lot of sleepiness, a lot of drowsiness, your mind is not clear. So this time will be better to do more on the walking meditation and the daily activities, and to be mindful and really clear about your daily activities. These two aspects, it arouses the mindfulness faster, clearer. So only when your mindfulness able to arouse from these two, then only the sitting meditation becomes more clearer. Then that time the restlessness, the sloth and torpor reduce. Not to say zero, but reduce. That you, at least there are some sittings you are much more clearer. There are some sittings you are still struggling with some sleepiness, drowsiness, but there are sittings be more clearer. First few days, every sitting is almost not very clear. So that's why you should not, the strategy here is that you should not pay attention too much on the sitting meditation. It's better to do it on a few days later. That'll be much better for most of you. For some people, it's different. Some people, they come in from another retreat. They come in from another retreat and they just continue in the next retreat. So that is, they just can continue walking, sitting as usual. But for most of you, you are just coming in from, let's say, from work, from your, and you stop for, let's say, 10 days or 2 weeks. Then the first few days, you'll be very exhausting. All of us too. Even right now, if I go into a retreat also, first 2 or 3 days, 1 or 2 days maybe, I also feel drowsiness and so on, because the body is not adjusted to it. So after a few days, when the body settled down, the mind settled down to the schedule, to the time, to the sleeping time, to the once the body is in tune to the retreat settings, then the mind becomes much more clearer. At that time, you can able to meditate better. So don't worry about balancing the thing yet. First few days is about arousing. So question 2, you can't catch your thoughts well. You can't catch your thoughts well, but you can able to notice your bodily actions much more better. Am I over concentrating on the body? Am I over concentrating on the body? Now here, when you able to catch your thoughts well, when you're able to catch your body well, that means that this time your mindfulness is a bit more continuous, which is good. This is wonderful. Catching the mind, when you catch your thoughts and so on, it needs a more consistent mindfulness before you can able to catch the mind. Which you are doing right. All you need to do is a little bit more practice. You just keep on pushing. Then later part, you can able to catch the mind too. Not all the time, but at least some of the time you can able to do that. All the thoughts or some of the thoughts that is coming in, sometimes immediately you can able to catch it, or sometimes the thoughts come in somewhere in the middle that you are already drifted to all your stories, and then suddenly you remember, then you cut it off, then you can able to catch it. So not your question here is that not you are doing wrong, you're just doing not enough. It needs to a bit more push, a bit more continuous in the mindfulness. Then that time the mind becomes more clearer to you, in the sense that the clarity of the mind or the restlessness mind or the sleepy mind also become more clearer to you. At that time, when they are more clearer to you, you can use them as a meditation object. You can able to note them too. Yeah? So your question here is a matter of not enough practice. All right? So we go to next question. Okay. Can you all see? Cannot see anything, huh? Can see now, Hun Ling?
Not yet.
Question number 2, huh?
Not yet.
All right.
Cannot see yet.
Not yet?
Not yet.
Oh, okay. Let me see, huh? Try again, huh? Okay. All right. Okay. Good. Question 2. Usually after listening to good Dhamma talks, my mind just quickly want to share with my close Dhamma friends. Is this wholesome or unwholesome mental state, or just bad habit? Sometimes I classify myself as KPC, busybody. Please clarify my doubt, and thank you, Bhante. Yeah. For those who are from overseas, you do not know what is KPC, doesn't matter. It means just busybody. It's more of a Hokkien thing or Chinese thing. Huh? Anyway, now, to put it simple here, it is wholesome that you want to share something that you find that is beneficial to you, especially a Dhamma talk. You want to share it with friends, or you want to share it with close friends, or you want to share it with your own family or your Dhamma family. So this is wholesome. This is wholesome. You're sharing something wholesome. Yeah. Busybody, that one, don't worry about it. But it's the next part that I need to clarify a little bit more. The next part is the sharing is wonderful, but how you share, that is something needs to be a bit more clarified. Sometimes once in a while, once in a while, at least I get this type of thing also. Some devotees, they listen to a certain Dhamma talks, and then they come to me. Bhante, this Dhamma talk, wonderful, Bhante, holy hell, this wonderful. Then I say, what is good? Bhante, you just listen, Bhante. You just listen, very good, Bhante. Sure, guarantee you listen, very good. Okay, fine. So I can play the Dhamma talk, listen to it. And then after that, inside the Dhamma talk, the monk talk about when meditation, then he can see the lights, he can see the Buddha, then he can feel other people, metta, can feel this and that. They are these devotees, they are very in tune with all these type of powers, these type of things and so on, When I listen to all these type of things, then I know that, well, when these things has a lot to do with the upakilesa, a lot to do with craving and attachment and imagination and so on. And yet, sometimes people tell me that this is wonderful because the monk got this power, that thing, and so on. Now, sometimes it's that when we get something good, something wholesome or some thoughts are wholesome, we want to shove it down some other people's throat, and force feed them into their mouth or into their minds. Sometimes we kind of like do that. We understand that. We understand these type of things are happening. Now, what is important here is that let's go back to the talk on Wednesday. We talked about the 4 Iddhipadas. The 4 Iddhipadas here, where you have the Chanda as an Iddhipada, as the Chanda here means a desire to do or a wish to do. And then after that, you have the effort as a second one. Then the third one, you have the Chitta or the mind. And the fourth one, you have the Vimamsa or the investigating. Now here, when you are practicing in your meditation, as I said yesterday, that although you have all these 4, but one of it will become more predominant to you throughout your practice. One of it become more predominant throughout your practice compared to the other 3. So well and good. So let's say you also achieve the result of enlightenment, let's say, which is great, wonderful. Now, when you come out to teach, let's say you come out to teach to other people, you will teach according to how you practice, the way that you practice. Your talks or your sharing will be based on that nature also. Now, if you are very much into the Chanda thing or faith thing, then your Dharma talks will be based on that thing. Beautiful action, wonderful action that you can see people offerings, dana, sila, those type of things that the speaker or the Dharma person who shares the Dharma will be more concentrate into that area. Whereas if you are very much into striving in the sense that you're making a lot of effort, then your talks also, your sharing also, we're very much on to you make effort. Struggle. No matter die also struggle. Next life come back also struggle. Everything is about effort. Then if you have a lot of this chitta also, then sometimes you have a lot of understanding of the suttas, you learn about Abhidhamma and all these things, because it gives you that urgency, it gives you that strength in your practice. Then also in that way you will share with others also. Now, if you are in a Vimamsa type, you're more over towards to see what is right and how to do it, and this is the way to do it, this is not the way to do it, how to balance, how to use this way to balance, how to use that way to balance, when you should exercise more of this, when you should exercise more of that. Then you're able to discern the different ways of things, then so on and so on. And therefore, when he gave the talk or when she gave the talk and she shared with people, also he shared according to her predominance or his predominance in this way. So the same thing also, when a person comes to share the Dhamma with us, they're also sharing their nature. They're also sharing their nature with us. And sometimes if the two nature able to you can able to sing together, that if you are faith orientated and then you share with somebody who is faith orientated also in a sense, then both of you can able to appreciate the Dhamma talk or appreciate the sharing. But if you are not into all this type of analyzing and thinking about it, then you share with this, although that you may think that, oh, this is wonderful. This Abhidhamma talk is wonderful. We can able to cut this, cut that here and there. But when you share with somebody else, what is he talking about? What is she talking about? So there are difference. There are difference on when it comes to Iddhipada and how we share our sharing with others. So the question is that whether you are it's perfectly all right to share with this. It's just that you just have to be careful that whether the person who receive it able to appreciate or understand what is being shared, because sometimes they have a different tendency. Then when you share it, they find it that there's not much of a benefit in them. So something like this. So it's always wholesome to share the Dhamma talk. Also. All right. Okay, we go to question number 3. Okay, can y'all see question 3? Cannot. Okay.
Not.
There's something wrong with this. Let me see. Let me try again. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Let's do a second time. Okay. Why is Sotapanna level and beyond having the permanent eradication of wrong view, but not anything below that? 5 aggregates are not permanent. So says when one is reborn, why does Sotapanna level and beyond stay? This is from Levin in Houston, US. Now, so why Sotapanna level and beyond? That means beyond here means the higher level of enlightenment. Second stage, third stage, fourth stage, arahantship. Having permanently eradicate wrong view, but not anything below that. 5 aggregates are not permanent. When you say one is reborn, why does Sotapanna level stay? Okay. When one attains enlightenment, when one for the first time attaining enlightenment, then that it arises these two different consciousness, which called the path and the friction consciousness, Magga and Phala consciousness. Now these two consciousness, they take Nibbana as an object. And they take Nibbana as an object. Whereas the Magga consciousness, it got an extra function. The Magga consciousness here, it eradicates the latent defilements of the mind. Whereas the friction consciousness does not eradicate anything. And this Magga consciousness again, they only arises once in your whole existence of samsara. If it's the Sotapanna Magga, that means it only arises once and then it already disappears. It cannot arise again. Whereas the friction consciousness of Sotapanna and also Sakadami and all that, that friction consciousness can arise again and again and again and again and again and again. As long as you will it, as long as you wish it, it can able to arise. Even for Arahant, they can able to arise this consciousness. But for path consciousness, since there are 4 levels, that means there's only 4 consciousness only. And after that, it already disappeared. But when it happens, that path consciousness happens, it will do its job of eradicating that latent defilements. Now, latent defilements here, it's a defilement that right now it's not there for you and me right now. In the sense that, let's say if the anger right now, you are not experiencing anger right now, that means it's not in the mind. But when we say they are still latent in us, because in the future, when a condition trigger off something for us to be angry, then that anger arises. That means it comes from the latent level. Then after that, it builds up into the mental level, builds up into a physical level. That means you may hurt people, or you verbal level, you may harsh speech, and so on. Mentally angry. So those arises, we call it arises from the latent tendency, from the latent defilement. So when a person realize this path consciousness, then that path consciousness will immediately do its job to eradicate the defilements. And all other consciousness cannot able to do this eradication. Other consciousness, perhaps below Sotapanna, that means you are still a worldling, you can able to sort of like suppress them with your wisdom, with your concentration, with your dana, with your sila, and so on. So many things you can do. You can able to suppress them, and they may not able to come up for a long period of time. Even for those who are like in the Brahma realm, then they can go without anger, and they can go without craving or sensual desire for eons and eons. For a very long time, very long time, as if like the anger also already gone, as if like the sensual pleasure is already gone. But even for the Brahma, the latent level, it's still there. It's still there. It's only when they come up, let's say, into reborn again in the very future, then they reborn again in the sensual world, like human beings or Deva realm, not Brahma realm, but Deva realm. Then the sensual pleasures and the anger will spring up again. Even for a long period of time, it doesn't come up. So it can remain latent for a long period of time. So don't underestimate these latent defilements. So no matter what they do, no matter how they practice, as long as they do not able to enlighten, then there's no eradication. No other consciousness can able to do the eradication. It's only this path consciousness can do that. So the path consciousness, they themselves too are not permanent, in the sense that they arises and they passes away, then the job done. So when the job done here, when you put the word permanent, it's not a very right word, because here is an extinction of that particular defilement. For example, if you mention here is wrong view, then it's an extinction of wrong view. That means it's already removed everything. There's nothing there. You can't say that that one is permanent. You can't say those things are permanent anymore, because of eradication already take place. There's nothing there anymore. So here when five aggregates and so on, all these are impermanent in the sense that they are there, they arises, they passes away, they arises again, they pass away again and again and again and again. As long as you're in samsara, then these aggregates arises and passes away. So when it comes into the eradication, then that particular defilement is being eradicated. They are extinct. Extinct, then you don't have to do a job anymore. Whereas when you are not extinct, when the certain defilements are not extinct, then you have to still work for it. That means even the Sotapanna able to eradicate the wrong view, but the sensual desire and the anger is still there. Then he got to keep on practicing, keep on noting again and again until reaching up to Anagami. Then with the path consciousness arises, then the latent defilements of sensual pleasures and also the anger is all completely removed, and so on with the higher factors or higher latent defilements. So it's all about that path consciousness do the eradication, and therefore extinction of that particular defilement comes in. So they are not to say that they are permanent. So therefore, when you go into a rebirth in the future, although the 5 aggregate is still there, then the and the 5 aggregate is still there, but the defilements already eradicated. That particular defilements already eradicated. So let's say you died as a Sotapanna. You died as a Sotapanna, so you already done your job. They already eradicate. So when you reborn, then you are still a Sotapanna, and then if you practice more, then of course you go up higher. Now on the other hand, for just a little bit more, for a jhana practitioner, you cannot able to sustain that first, let's say the first jhana, second jhana, third jhana, fourth jhana if the next life. Even in this life also the same thing. Even when you practice the first jhana, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, 8 jhana here. If you can able to attain the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth, and seventh, and eighth, then if you don't practice for, let's say, for 1 year, you don't practice. When you don't practice for 1 year, let's say, then you have to start all the way from number 1 again. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7, number 8. Even the jhana, it cannot sustain because the jhana still falls under 5 aggregates. They arises, they pass away. When the condition is not there, when you don't practice, other words, then those jhana cannot be maintained. Then that jhana will fade away, so-called fade away, that you cannot, after a year you sit down, you cannot able to go into jhana immediately. But because of you have done practice before, then if you keep on trying again after a few days or maybe a week later and so on, because you know the way how to practice, then this jhana also come back easily to you. Then after that, you can able to go in first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth. So on the jhana level, on the samatha level, they are different because if you don't practice, this jhana disappear. But for Sotapanna enlightenment, no matter how negligent Sotapanna is, let's say the Sotapanna doesn't practice for 1 year, let's say doesn't practice for 1 year, then that extinction also is already there. It's just that he may not able, when he start practicing again, let's say a year again for the Sotapanna, then he will start again, like the first question, sleepy, drowsy, and so on. And then after that, the past few days, the momentum gain again, and then he can go into all the nibbana and further practice some more. Yeah? So for enlightenment, they are very different from the worldly states because of the extinction that's taking place. Worldly states, there's no extinction yet. All right? Okay, let's see. Question number 3. Wait, okay. Can you all see again? All right, we go question number 4. Question number 4. Let me see. All right. The 5 faculties, Indriya, and the 5 powers, how are they different? Thank you. Yeah? All right. Okay, since some of you didn't follow on a Wednesday talk, just go back to my slides. Okay, let me go back to my slides. Okay, can you all see the 7 Bojjhanga again? Cannot. Stop share. Stop share. Okay, hold on again. Can you all see the 7 Bojjhanga? Okay, all right. Okay, good. Now, in the 5 balas and the 5 powers here, here, as I said, the 5 bala and the 5 powers and the 5 controlling faculties, they have exactly the same component, 5 of them. Faith here is saddha, effort is viriya, mindfulness sati, concentration is samadhi, and wisdom is panya. Indriya also the same thing. Faith, effort, mindfulness, concentration, and wisdom. They are exactly the same thing. They're exactly the same thing. Now, wait now. Let me go back to this one. Can you see the question again now? Okay. All right, the 5 faculties and the 5, how are they different? The components there are the same, but how are they different? They are different in the sense that one is I would say, the controlling faculties here, the 5 faculties are the 5 controlling faculties. That means it do certain action. It governs, or it do a certain action for the mind. Whereas the powers here, it prevents something from coming in, or it prevents the defilements from coming in. It prevents the defilements from coming in. Now, it is easier to give you example. Take mindfulness. Let's take mindfulness, sati. What is the difference between sati in the indriya and sati in the bala? When you say sati as an indriya, then here the sati as an indriya, on Wednesday, on Wednesday, as I said that one of the characteristic of, and not on Wednesday, I was talking about on the daily mindfulness then. I say one of the problems that you cannot able to develop daily mindfulness is because you don't even know the characteristic of a mindfulness. Then you can develop all kinds of wrong things. Then you have a hard time of developing mindfulness. So one of the characteristic of mindfulness, as I said, is a heightened awareness. The mind is heightened up. It's not just an everyday awareness, but it's a much more that you put a bit more attention into something. As I said, when you want to handle something dangerous, you are handling hot water, for example. As a Buddha that gave you a person holding a bowl of oil right to the brim, and he must not spill the oil. In that sense, that you must put much more attention into it. When you do that, that is the nature of mindfulness. That means here, its nature is to bring the mind closer to an object. It brings the mind closer to an object. That's why you pay attention a bit more. Not just like every day you sit down there, you notice this and that, that is not really mindfulness. Some people says that they sit down in the garden, watch the birds fly here and there. Oh, I'm in present right now. I'm mindful. This is not mindfulness because the mind is not heightened up. The mind is not clear. So the nature of mindfulness here is that it's bring the whole state of mind close to the object. Its job, its function is to close to the object. It doesn't scrutinize that particular object. It doesn't concentrate the object. Those concentration belongs to concentration. Scrutinizing belongs to the wisdom. Their function. Mindfulness, its job is just to bring close to the object. But because that when we are meditating, all the five happen simultaneously, But when we are giving a talk, we have to exclude something out first in order for us to see its characteristics. So the mindfulness here is to stay with the object close to it. It stays close to it. So its area, its function or its province or it governs the area of clarity, area of confronting the object, to bring the object near. So that is it's as an indriya. Whereas as a power, sati as a power, then the sati here, it's cannot be overcome by what we call heedlessness or forgetfulness. Pamada, the Pali word. It cannot be overcome by it. In a sense that, for example, just like the question number 1, you try to meditate, and then when the story comes up, and then you fall into the story. When you fall into the story, that means the mindfulness already stopped. Why the mindfulness stopped? Because the mindfulness is not strong. The defilements, the mental hindrances here, the restless mind here, it already overcomes the mindfulness. That's why we fall into the thoughts and thinking and planning, imagination, and so on. But when that mindfulness is strong as a power, then that time you are paying attention to an object. Let's say from somewhere behind, and then the thought starts to creep in. Then you already know, hey, it's coming in already. By the time you're just aware of that thought, the thought already disappears. That means that the thought right now cannot overcome the mindfulness. It cannot overcome the mindfulness. So that time the mindfulness acts as a power. All right, it acts as a power. So too when we have other like virya. Let's look into virya. We'll look into an example. Then this nature of this virya is to provide energy. Its job is to provide vibrancy to all other associated mental factors. That means it gives the mindfulness to do its function. If there's no energy, the mindfulness pun tak boleh jalan. The mindfulness needs energy. It needs for it to able to do the mindfulness for it to do the function. Virya, the effort has to provide it. For that wisdom to do its scrutinizing on the object, then the virya also is providing the energy so that the wisdom can able to scrutinize the object. So its function is to do that. Its function is to do that, right? So that when it do that, it acts as an indriya. Okay, it acts as an indriya. It governs that area of providing energy. It governs that part. Mindfulness does not provide energy. Mindfulness is just to bring the mind close to it. That is the indriya for sati as an indriya. Whereas, back again to the effort again. Now, effort, again here, if it acts as a power, then this time when it acts as a power, then the principle here is it cannot be overcome by its opposite defilement here. Now the opposite of this virya here is the laziness of the mind or the sloth and torpor of the mind. The sloth and torpor cannot overcome it because the virya is powerful. The opposite, and when you have the correct, then the nature of this sloth and torpor here, sloth and torpor is depleting energy, depleting the mental energy. They are totally different. So when the virya is sustainable, the virya is continuous, balanced, then this time all your sleepiness doesn't come in. Even the one you meditate, you want not many, then you already know already. You just push up a little bit more of the mind, of the energy, then all the sloth and torpor doesn't come in. For many of you, you cannot able to achieve that yet. The moment it comes in, it sneak around quietly, make you. Then the more that you meditate, how come I meditate already? Then it initially was very clear, and then after that become blur, not so clear. Everything become dull. Everything becomes stop. Then also I sleep during sitting. Why is that so? Because virya is not powerful. The virya is not sustainable. So this is because you're already overcome by its opposite, by sloth and torpor. So faculties and virya, although they are the same, they have the same component, but they act differently. So too, you have like confidence. Confidence, the nature of confidence is that it makes everything very clear in front of you. That there's no like something covering you up. It's very clear. You are confident about the object. Then the opposite of this saddha is the vichikicha, the skeptical doubt. The skeptical doubt. Then the doubt, they say you meditate halfway, then you think, rising, falling can or not? Is it rising, falling suitable meditation or not? All kinds of thoughts, all kinds of skeptical doubt starts creeping in. Then all your meditation object also not clear. So when the confidence is there on the object, then all this type of skeptical doubt don't come in. So something like this. And just to go a little bit more on the concentration. Concentration here is the nature of concentration. Its function is to hold them together, hold all the other associate states together so that they are on the object. Now, the opposite side of it is that the mind gets distracted. Distracted in the sense that if the concentration is not strong, easily get distracted. That means you meditate, you meditate. After that, you watch your in-breath, out-breath clearly. Then after that, short while there's a sound there, you hear the sound. Oh, what is it? What type of sound is that? And then you're distracted, or you're distracted into a bit of thoughts, and then you get distracted. A little bit of people walking past, you also get distracted. That means the concentration is weak. So when you have power, as a concentration, as a power, then it doesn't get distracted. Everything is unified onto, the whole mind is unified onto the object. All the other faculties, they are unified to the object. For wisdom factor here, as a faculty, again, then its job is to scrutinize. That means that it sees this thing as arising, passing away, long, short, fast, slow, what is going on with those objects. You feel that the hardness is getting more, it's getting less, it's getting this way or that way. Sometimes you notice your pain, this pain, after that it changed to that pain, and then it getting more painful. This is because your wisdom is scrutinizing the whole thing, which is good. Then if your wisdom is not exercising your wisdom here, then you just sit down there. You can be mindful, you can be alert, but your mind is not penetrating, your mind is not seeing things as they are. When the pain comes in, you just sit there, pain only, pain. Then the teacher asks you, how do you note the pain? Pain. What is there to note? Nothing else, just pain only, sit there. That means you're not, the faculty is not, you're not scrutinizing thing. That means, other words, ignorance is coming in. Delusion is coming in. The opposite of this wisdom is that the delusion, and the delusion, it comes in as just, you sit there, although you are mindful, but you are not doing the job of scrutinizing. Just sit there. So that's why in the retreat, we want you to pay attention and what is going on. You have to describe, you have to see, and we have not just walk up, walk down, not just sit there, feel the breeze passing through, see the birds, see other people. Although you are present, but you are not exercising the wisdom. So this is what we mean here. So they are different. So this is what they are different in the sense of one as a governing body, as a something to do something, and a function to do an action, to do a mental action. And bala here is to prevent unwholesome prevent the opposite from coming in. Usually is the defilements. Now, this is how we look at it. But there are some teachers that I've heard now. They say that Indriya is lower, Bala is higher. Indriya is lower, Bala is higher. That means Indriya is not as strong as Bala thing. I find that this explanation is not very good. Anyway, it doesn't matter, because as you get stronger and stronger, as you're mentally you get stronger and stronger, both of this function and as a prevention, the faculties and powers, they go hand in hand. They go hand in hand. So what you want to do is that to make sure that all these 5 faculties are in a state of balance. If in the state of balance, then your mind is doing continuous mindfulness, continuous clarity, continuous penetration, continuous energy, continuous clarity of the mind, which is wonderful. You sustain it as long as you can. So when the mind doesn't get into, because of mind is impermanent, all these states of mind is impermanent, then they may change. Then we apply certain ways of to get the mind back into balance. But that one is a lot of talks. That one you come into a retreat, then I'm happy to give you this type of talks. But here all of you are not in a retreat. Here I talk after that. If I talk further, then you may not able to understand so much of it unless you meditate. Somebody's this one is on, Hun Ling. Hunling, somebody's mic is on. Wait. I go back to my Zoom. Jet in. You mute your mic. Okay. What else do we have? All right. I have a question in the chat area. Can you all see the chat? Okay, for those who are not able to see the chat, for those who are in the Facebook, you may not able to see the chat right now. But anyway, I read it for you. Bhante, in sitting meditation, I often have this problem of the body tilted. Once I notice it, I move the body upright. Not long after that, the body tilted. I don't feel sleepiness. Is it because lack of mindfulness? Okay, so hold on. For those who are in the this one, let me whiteboard. Can you see the whiteboard now? Okay. Text. Wait, let me go back to this one. But anyway, doesn't matter. I want to cut and paste out from the text into the whiteboard. Anyway. All right. Anyway, let me see, where's my chat again? Okay. Bhante, in sitting meditation, I often have this problem of the body tilted. Once I notice it, I move my body upright. Not long after that, my body tilt again. I do not feel sleepiness. Is it lack of mindfulness? That all depends. Yeah? Here, when your body is tilting, when you are meditating, especially when you're doing vipassana, not samatha part. If you're doing vipassana part, if your body is tilted a little bit, my instruction here is that you don't have to bring the body into a straight position. Keep the body a bit tilted and meditate from there, whether it's rising, falling, or whatever that you're doing, and especially when your mind is still clear, then keep it there. You keep it there. Because sometimes you have to see things as they are, not what you want. In certain times when you comes into a meditation, the body has got its own behavior, slightly changes here and there. And then when it tilted a little bit, we wanted to get it straight. We wanted to get it straight because why? We want to get it straight because we have been taught again and again that when you meditate, you must sit straight. Straight. Everybody must sit straight. Which is true in the beginning part of when you are actually begin to meditate. But when you are in the retreat or when you are developed further, the body tends to it shows its characteristics to you. Then that time, what you should do is that you pay attention to how the body tilted and keep the body there. If it's tilted a little bit front or to the side, doesn't matter. If it does not disturb you, then stay there and watch your rising and falling. Don't do what you want. Don't do what you think is right. You do what the body, it feels a little bit. But if it's tilted too much, and this could be because sleepiness may already creep in, then that time you make an effort to bring it up in order to overcome some sleepiness or drowsiness. But if you are not drowsy and the mind is clear, you don't go and disturb the whole sitting. Keep it there. If it's tilted also, it's okay. Okay? All right. Next question. Oh, come up another one. All right, already 10 o'clock. This is the last one. Bhante, roughly how much time should we spend on spurt of mindfulness during our daily practice? Thank you. whatever. This one here, Huning, you can copy and paste again to the Facebook audience. Roughly how much time should we spend on spurt of mindfulness during our daily practice? Now here, during daily practice, it all depends on how much time you want to give. Everybody can be very different. Yeah? Because sometimes this spurt of mindfulness, you got to be careful. If you force yourself trying to be mindful, trying to follow everything that you want to do, for a period of time, some people get into tension, head tension, back tension, and so on. And they do not want to want to relax. They just force the mind into it, and they can get tension. And because of this daily practice, as I said, now you just spend 10 seconds or 15 seconds or 30 seconds, a spurt of mindfulness that you go into it and be aware of what you are doing at that moment of time. Then after that, you come out, do normal again, like what you are doing every day, a bit faster and so on. Then after that, in another thing, you go in again. You go in again, you dive in again, you be watchful of what's going on. Then after that, you come up again. You come up again, and other things, you do something like this throughout the day. And it's very helpful. It creates a good habit of the mind. But this one is not a substitute for a sitting meditation or a walking meditation. This is like a supportive for us. It is good to support. You have a good supportive condition. Don't neglect it, but here, as I said, don't overdo it also, because this can create a lot of tension in some people. When you're in a retreat, it's better for you to do longer period of time because you got nothing else. You don't have to worry about time so much. Whereas at home or at work, you may need to worry about those things. And then when you worry about those things, you try this and you try that, sometimes the whole mind jam up and you get a lot of tension. So try that and see. All right. Okay, that's about it for tonight. All right, so this is the Q&A. So the next talk will be on Monday. The next talk will be on Monday. Then we'll see what other days we will talk. All right, so we'll see on Monday. All right. Okay, so now we share merits.